It's finally day 3 of the 2026 Parenting Goal Setting and Implementation Masterclass. How was day 1? How was day 2? I hope you've taken time to watch them and you've taken out what are in those classes for you, right? Like I said in the first day, these sections are not things you watch and you shout, wow, wow, this is interesting. No. The classes are for you to sit down, watch them, ask yourself, what goals should I set for my child, no matter the age my child is in right now. So if you are just put to bed, your goal could be that each time your baby cries, you pay attention to know what a cry is for. It could be that you take time to observe your baby and understand which cry is for feeding, which cry is indicating that your baby needs a change in diaper. It could be that your goal is that every day or every alternate day or once in a week from 3 months that you do a tummy time with your baby. Depending on the age of your child, you'll be able to set appropriate goals that are not unrealistic or that would be too much for your child. So I do hope that at this point that we are going to look at staying consistent, flexible, and calm in 2026. That's what we'll be looking at today. So day 1, we've talked about what kind of goals to set, why you should set the goals. Day 2, we actually set one goal together and you saw the plans, the strategies, the systems, the things to hold you and your child accountable and committed, right? And how to design your environment to help you stick to the goal that we set together, which is nutritional goal that you want to raise healthy children who feed on healthy meals and snacks. So today we're looking at what happens when changes come and you're unable to continue with your goals maybe for a day or two. How do you start afresh when you've made mistakes and all of that? That's what we'll be looking at today. Now let me say this. The aim of every goal that you'll be setting for your child in the first 6 years is based on building habits. I'd say that again. The aim of any or every goal you'll be setting for your child in the first 6 years is to help your child build habits around that particular goal. So it's not a period where you want your child to become an expert in that area. It's between the ages of 6 and 12 that you should, start working on refining whatever goal it is that you've been working on for the past 6 years, the past 7 years, the past 8 years, or thereabouts. So in the first 6 years, your goal is to build foundation. Your goal is to make this a habit. Your goal is to lay the imprint in your child's head. So it's not a period that you want to come and announce to everybody that my child is an expert in this. Expertise is not developed in the first 6 years. You know why I'm taking time to talk about this? So that you don't teach your child one thing. You don't set one goal for 1 week, 1 month, and after a while or after 1 month, your child is still finding it difficult to cope with the goal that you've set and all of that. Then you conclude that there is no point setting goals. 1 month is actually not enough to build a habit around a particular goal, even for you as an adult. So let's talk about goal adjustment. There are 2 reasons why you should adjust goals, a particular goal that you set for your child. Goal number 1 is when it feels like a struggle for your child to keep up with that goal. Number 2 is when your child outgrows that particular goal. For instance, there was a time when the only goal we set for him that he's actively a part of was for him to brush his mouth before he leaves for school in the morning, just to brush his mouth. So after a while, we realized that this has become so easy for him. So we included him taking his baths and dressing himself up. And after a while, we realized that he has gotten the hang of this. And so we progressed to setting out their uniform the night before or immediately he wakes up. And so that included he will set out his own uniform, every single thing down to his singlets and his socks and all of that. And you also do the same thing for the sister. So you adjust goals or you adjust the activities that is leading you towards a particular goal as your child gets a hang of it. So let's say you have a 1-year-old who had just mastered how to walk and the child is now getting into places that he or she shouldn't get into, like the bedroom, like goes into the kitchen and wants to climb stools so that he can reach areas that he ordinarily shouldn't reach. Your safety goal should include that. You put out things that are within his easy reach. You take them to places that his hands cannot get to. You also look at putting some of those items in a locked area. You also consider keeping the doors closed, the doors to your kitchen, doors to your bedroom, so that you don't allow the child to get into the bedroom because you know that could be drowning. You don't allow the child to get into the kitchen unsupervised so that it doesn't fall, get hot things to pour on him and all of that. You adjust your goals as the child grows. That is one reason that would lead to goal adjustment. The second reason that will lead to goal adjustment is when your child is struggling to keep up with a goal. When a child is struggling to keep up with a goal, it could be that the goal is way higher than that child, or that you've not prepared the child for that particular goal that you're working on. I'll give us a typical example. So some time ago, we had this goal that the children should leave for school every day by 7:10 a.m. Meanwhile, the way we arranged the activities that they should do in the morning means that my daughter, who is 3, and we still bathe her for school and then brush her teeth. The arrangement is that my daughter will first take her bath, brush her teeth, and then go to dress up, while the brother will brush himself alone and bathe himself. So what that meant was that because my son is most times unsupervised while he's doing those things, he takes more time to get it done. So my daughter will be ready before 7 a.m. and by 7 a.m. the brother has not even, he's still in the bedroom. So it was a struggle for them to meet up with the goal of leaving for school by 7:10 a.m. every day. So what did we do? We had to rearrange it. So my son will go in first, brush his teeth, and take his bath, so that whoever is going to bathe my daughter will also keep an eye on him and make sure that he's not taking so much time. That is number one strategy that we brought in. Number two strategy that we brought in is that we now started setting alarms for him. So brushing of teeth is 5 minutes. Taking your bath is 5 minutes. Dressing up is 5 minutes. Strategy number three that I brought in is that I told him, when you're done preparing, when you're done dressing up, instead of sitting and waiting for your sister to be ready, come to the kitchen and join me so that I will make breakfast. And this is something he enjoys. He enjoys being in the kitchen. He enjoys doing chores. And so I'll tell him, if we do this for a while, when you turn 6 years, I'll start teaching you how to make breakfast so that you pack your people's lunchbox for school. It's actually a goal. I do not want to be preparing breakfast that they will put in their lunchbox for school by the time they are 8, 9 years old. And so if we start around 6 years to be with me actively in the kitchen in the morning after preparing for school, it means that if we do it for 1 year or 2 years, we should be able to get a hang of most of the meals that we prepare for them to go to school. I hope that is clear. So 2 things that will make you to review a goal is if your child is struggling to meet up with it, or your child outgrows the goal, then you need to adjust it so that it will be incongruent with your child's current development or capacity. The second learning objective that we'll be looking at today is how to handle setbacks without guilt. So I had an experience recently. We've always had helps in our house. So at some point we had 2. It was up until 2024 that one left, and we're now left with 1 help. And then the children also started doing some of the chores. So yeah, the chores actually reduced for us adults in the house. But last month, being December, the remaining help left within the first week of December. And because my husband works full time away from home, and most times he's away from the home up until weekends when he comes back and all of that. So it was just me and the 3 children, and it was a handful. So much a handful that we actually couldn't keep up with a lot of our daily routines that were leading us towards goals. For instance, we want our children to start reading by the age of 6. So we start getting books around them from day 1. So from the age of 1 and 2 and all of that, you have books, age appropriate books that will give to them. You open, you tear if you want to tear. Yes, they also tear it in that first 2 to 3 years. It's normal. Every child will tear books. The only thing that we'll focus on is that the books within their reach are not books that when they tear it, tears will fall. All right, so that's what we do. And so on a daily basis, they read. We have what we call reading exercise in my home, in their routine. But because of the extra load that I had to deal with alone, we couldn't keep up with our reading exercise. And I noticed that it affected my daughter especially. My daughter had started doing word blending at the age of 3. She started even before then. I noticed that it affected her word blending. It didn't affect my son. What it did for my son was that it slowed his speed, but he could still read some common words that he has seen. And it slowed also his progress with being able to attempt pronouncing strange words. But I knew what was going on, and I knew that there's no way I could have pushed myself to be able to accommodate every single thing on their routine when there was a help, in that instance where there was no help. And so recently we've gotten a help, and we are finding our way back to the regular routine. It's not perfect yet, but we are finding our way back to it, because the goal of being able to read at the age of 6 is still there, and it's something that we still want to achieve. And so in your goal settings, you're going to encounter things that will slow your child down. It could be regression due to illness, due to change in environment, due to inconsistency in carrying out the activities that leads to those goals. It could be anything. But what I'm trying to say here is whatever thing you encounter that actually takes you backwards in working towards the goal you've set, accept what is going on and actually ask yourself, how do we come out of this? For me, I knew that we needed another help and we were on the forefront of trying to find someone else. Unfortunately, we did find someone that's been of immense blessing to us. Whatever point you meet obstacles in trying to accomplish the goals you've set, sit down and ask yourself, what is going on? How do we take care of this? The answers to those questions will be critical in helping you to come out of your sliding down, to come out of the delays or the challenges you're having in going ahead with the goals you've set. And finally, and very, very importantly, find yourself a community of other parents who are also not parenting the casual way. This is like a cheat code. There is such a thing as community intelligence where you are not swimming against tides. It's discouraging that you're trying to do something and people are making a jest of it. People are making a caricature of you. For instance, I was in a group some time ago. My first son was about 4 years and he was running around the cars parked in that area. The car was parked right in the place where the meeting was going on. And so one of them actually confronted me in a very bad way because I didn't beat my child like they suggested I should do. And you know what? I smiled. This happens to us in different dimensions every day. Sometimes it could be our spouse, it could be our children's grannies, it could be our relations staying around, or it could be our friends who are thinking that we are crazy or we don't know what we are doing by thinking that we can raise children, especially here in Nigeria, without flogging them. But I tell you, you find yourself in a group where everybody is of the same mindset, and you could even talk about the challenge you're having, and people could let you know what to do and all of that. It's a big plus for you. Sometimes you don't even know that your children are capable of doing certain things until you hear someone in that group mention it, and you could be like, oh, I'll try this out. And you go try it out and you see that you've been delaying your child from actually learning that all the while. And that's the beauty of being in a community. And on this note, I invite you to join the Royalty Conclave program, which, like I mentioned earlier, is a parenting community that I lead for parents who have children within the ages of 0 to 6 years. Forgive me if you think I stress the first 6 years so much, but you know what? It is worth the stress regardless. And if every single person that is raising children within that age range now do their due diligence, do all that they are supposed to do, I tell you, the next 10, 15, 20 years from now will be different, because the kind of children we've raised are not children that are second guessing themselves, are not children that think that they are suddenly free to do anything and behave anyhow because you're not there. Let me say this: if you have a child that is 5 years, like I do have, it means that in 10 years time that child will be 15. In 15 years time that child will be 20. In 20 years time that child will be 25. And if you have a 1 year old, you can do the mathematics too. So I leave you with this question: what you are doing with your child right now, will it guarantee that in 15 years, in 20 years time, that that child will stand tall, rooted in principles and values that were inculcated from your home? These are the questions we should be asking ourselves and answering. And if your answer is a no, then you have no reason not to be in the next cohort of the Royalty Conclave that will be kicking off in February. Like I will always say, I am a parent with 3 children myself, all less than 6 years. I know what I see. I know the effort I put in, the extra effort we need to bring in. Not because we are afraid of tomorrow, but because we know that if we must have children who will stand out tomorrow, we must do our bid as parents today from our home. So if we do our job well at home, the things we fear in schools and churches will be things that we use to gist with our own children. I can't tell you the things that my children, son especially, will come back from church or come back from school and tell me, mommy, this person said this or this person did this. And we talk about it because there are things we've been talking about before. And so those experiences in schools only reinforce what we've started talking about before. So it's not like a new thing that we are now running kitty kitty kata kata and trying to find out what we do. I leave you here with this. This is where we end the masterclass. I hope it's been worth your time. I hope you've shared the video link with someone in your circle who is also raising young children. I hope to see you, most importantly, in the Royalty Conclave program. You want to learn more about the Royalty Conclave program? Check the seller link store in my bio and you'll get instant access to the course and how to proceed from there. Once again, I am yours truly, Chioma Ogoli, your early years parent coach and the founder of the Expectant Parent Academy. It's been awesome having you in this year's 2026 Parenting Goal Setting and Implementation Masterclass. To have an amazing, amazing day ahead.